And there's amazing, fabulous stories. Oh, look at all the babies.
Look at all the babies.
Everybody.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to our Monday night special edition of our patching podcast tonight. We hope that this helps you and to know that you can we can patch our pets too. We've got some wonderful stories that we're excited to share, and don't we, Alisia? So Alisia and
Oh,
I are the hosts tonight, and we're excited to share with you. I know I, for one, have been patching my pets for over 4 years, cats, dogs, everything. So we are just thrilled to share with you a little bit more information and some wonderful testimonials from people that have had great results as well. And we will share with you the disclaimer. LifeWave is not here to diagnose, treat, or cure. We're not claiming to do that. We're just wanting to share with you some wonderful information about for educational purposes only, and it will be your choice to use them if you would like. Thank you for joining us, and Alisia, thank you for being here with me tonight.
this since we first talked about it about a month ago, and I cannot wait, for two reasons. We love these babies. I mean, who doesn't just wouldn't give their all for their fur baby? I know they're such an important part of our lives. They go with us everywhere. They sleep with us. They kiss us. They're just another part of the family. And, just like with anything else, with the patches that we're going to be sharing about tonight, we want everybody that we love and that we want to be around for a long, long time to be patching. So why not our pets? And so we've got 4 or 5 great testimonies tonight about patching pets. And then we have Dr. Kayla, who is a special holistic, and she'll share about her accreditations in a little bit with working with animals. And she's going to talk a little bit how the patches work with you. So just hold on and love those babies. And if you know somebody that's got a pet that's aging or that might need a little extra TLC, text them really quick and get them on this Zoom. We'd love to have them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alicia. And I love your baby too. Look at him sitting up there.
This
And I
is
know,
Skipper. Say
sweet
hey,
Skip.
Skipper.
Look at that face, the star for the night. Beautiful. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Patty, if you will unmute and join us, she is going to share about her fur baby, Cooper. And Grace has got some photos to share with us. And we'll, Patty, are you there?
I am. How are you, April? Thank you so much for having us. I'm so glad to
We're
be
excited. I love that is
here.
a beautiful dog.
He's the original Snoopy. I'm just kidding.
He really looks like it. Look at those precious, that picture you sent me. I was like, oh my goodness, that precious baby. Um, if you will just tell us about how you learned about the patches,
Sure.
if you started patching first, or what was it that made you, even start patching Cooper, what happened with him,
Yeah.
and tell us the results that you've experienced since you've been patching your baby.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so delighted to be here with all of you. I know that our community is growing. People are finding out more information about this, which is wonderful. I started patching 2020, and a friend of mine called me and she was telling me about this, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she sent me some samples, and I actually was having hot flashes, and within 4 days, I'm gonna tell you right now, the hot flashes were gone. So I said, oh, whoa, this is amazing. So I bought some pain patches, and then I just bought everything because I don't like pills. And my beautiful Cooper over here, he was suffering. And I started noticing, I have a townhome, so I have 3 floors. And I started noticing that he was going slower and slower. And you know what do you do with that? And then he actually started having irritable bowel syndrome because Cooper's going to be 13. Okay. This year he's going to be 13. So, what happens with the patches and him floored me. I used the X39 and I used it for 2 days, and he ran up the steps. He ran up the steps. I couldn't believe it. So and I said, okay, because Cooper is very small. He's a Havanese. He is like super, super, super sweet. And he's not a dog that goes outside too much. So he's more like a home dog. And he goes outside for pee-pee, comes back home. When you have an animal that's older, they start to decline too. And you know what? I try to do anything to help my husband, to help my family, and he's my family too, right? So then I started using the X39, then I did the X49, and he's been patching for 3 years. 2 years, I started noticing that I couldn't stop patching him because I tried to give a little break for him. I said, no, I'm never going to stop patching him. So I hope this helps people.
Thank you, Patty. That is a great story. That is a beautiful dog too. And I know we want to keep them around as long as we want to, because I know I lost my Maltese a couple years ago. Alicia and I both did, but I patched Milo faithfully for 2.5 years after I had taken him, before I learned about the patches, to put him down. So they gave me 2.5 more years with my precious little Maltese. So thank you so much for sharing your story about Cooper. That was amazing. And next, we have got Grace Purdue. She's going to share a story with us about Mr. Scooby, her
Mr.
special needs
Scooby.
dog.
He's in the background. I was gonna pick him up, but he's about 65 pounds too heavy. So I'd been patching for a while, so I knew that they worked, and I just never thought about putting them on dogs, I guess. So Scooby is 3 years old in September, and he was born fully deaf. So he's a very special boy. So one night we have like a baby gate at the top of the steps where we keep them during the day. And he didn't hear that this one had knocked it shut. And he runs up the steps full speed because he can't walk up. He has to sprint. And he hits it full speed. And he just kind of hits it so hard, he rolled backwards all the way down the steps and hits the hard slate floor at the bottom. And it was so loud, and I felt so bad for him, but I didn't think anything of it because he's 3 years old and he's really, he's like 2 at the time, so he's tough. Basically still a puppy, and I thought he'd bounce back pretty quickly, and I didn't think anything of it until about a week later. I noticed that he was limping, and a lot of times when dogs are limping, they're putting on the dog. It's a saying, lying dog, putting on the dog. Dogs limp for all kinds of reasons. Like Pepper stepped on his foot and he limped for 4 days. So I didn't think anything of it until it had been about a month. And so we started thinking that maybe something could be wrong, maybe ACL tear, because the way that he was limping, I'll show a video. The way that he was limping looked really like an ACL tear. He wasn't putting any weight on it. He just holding it up in the air. He couldn't do really anything except for just hobble around. And it kept getting worse. And it was really sad to watch him just limp around the house, being basically a puppy. So we kept trying to give him like joint supplements, and suddenly it dawned on me, the patches, duh. So I ordered him his own, like we have a human knee patching protocol, so I ordered him all the same patches because we knew that the ACL surgery would be like $6,000 or $7,000. Like the patches would save me thousands. So I ordered him his little protocol, and I just started putting him on him while he was asleep because there's no way that he would know that they're on. Because if you put him on during the day, he's more likely to scratch them off. But we just started patching him at night, and it was about 3 months later, and he was doing better, but he still had like a little bit of a limp whenever he like run really hard. We're like, what in the world? Why is he still limping? And we did an x-ray, and the vet said that he had fractured his knee. It actually wasn't his ACL. He'd fractured his poor little knee, and I didn't know dogs had knees, so we laughed about where's the dog's knee at. And it was like kind of mind-blowing that he'd been through this and was supposed to have had surgery. The vet said the type of injury that he had requires surgery, and he was just blown away that Scooby had fully healed, and there's just some inflammation left over. That's why he was occasionally limping, is just leftover inflammation. So we kept patching him, and I'll show you a video from today. Like he can put full weight on that leg. He runs, he's crazy. I actually had a hard time getting a video of him because he is so crazy. But this was him today, just walking normal like nothing ever happened. No issues at all. So like he can have like crazy days in the yard and he won't have any limping or joint pain at all. We were worried that he was going to have a lot of like long-term issues, but we just continued patching him. Now he doesn't get his own X39 anymore. He still gets secondhand, but it's really like saved him from an $8,000 surgery and 16 weeks of recovery with a deaf 2-year-old dog. I don't know about you, but I don't know if I was in for that as much as I love him. That's tough. So he is completely better. And I know the patches work, but seeing it even for animals, because animals have cells, there's no reason that they couldn't work for them too. So I'm so thankful for my little Scooby to be all healed. And he is right behind me snoring, no pain. He can come up and down the steps without any help. So he's had a complete miracle too. Not just me, my little pup too.
Thank you, Grace. That is my grand fur baby.
That's her grand dogs. This is all she gets for now.
Yep, I'm wanting grandbabies, but right now I got 2 fur babies. Thank you,
Grand
Grace.
dogs.
But yes, I can attest to all the things that Scooby's hobbled around for a while, and then Grace started patching him, and it was just miraculous. And she even had a third party veterinarian that's on our team that was in Kingsport, Tennessee. He looked at the X-ray and he verified. He said, yes, the dog did have a broken knee, and like it is, but it's healing. It's healing so well. Like, dude, it's amazing because he couldn't believe that he saw firsthand as well what it was doing for her, for Scooby. So thank you, Grace, for sharing. That was amazing. And next we have Kathy Thomas. Kathy, are you there? Kathy is going to share with us about, let me just make sure Kathy's I know she's not
There.
muted. Hey, honey. Hey, Kathy. Thank you so much.
Hmm?
She's going to share with us her story about Becca and her beautiful dog that Grace has got a photo of there. So Kathy, tell us about how you learned about the patches and if you started using them first, or how all this came to be that you learned about this amazing wearable light technology.
Well, actually, Becca got to wear the patches first. What happened was when she was 5 years old, she started having seizures. And for 5 years, I had her completely controlled of the seizures on CBD oil. I did not know about patches. Fast forward to when she was 10, she had a really bad seizure, and she just didn't recuperate from it very well. She seemed very disorientated, and she couldn't get up and walk. Like, I literally had to take like a blanket and put it underneath her waist and carry her back end out, to go in and out, because she was a 90-pound dog. She's a Cane Corso. And so I had to bring her in the house, out of the house. She would just lay on her bed. I would have to bring her food to her and hand feed her. And it was really rough. I brought her to the vets, and the vets were like, "Oh, well, we don't know. She had the seizure." And I said, "Well, don't you think she had a stroke?" And yeah, she could have. And I knew she had a stroke. I've worked with dogs my whole life, over 50 years I've worked with dogs, and I knew she had had a stroke. Well, my friend Rhonda, who sells the patches, I had told her about what was going on, and she brought 6 to me. She said, put them on her, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And I'm like, okay. And I, put a collar on her, and I stuck the patch on the collar. And I think it was just like the next day or a couple days, she started to eat on her own again. And then each day she got a little stronger, where she could get up and go outside by herself without me having to hold her rear end up. And she started playing. I also have a French bulldog, who was just a puppy at the time that this happened. And she started to play with him again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, this is incredible. So I used the 6 patches. And then by the end of the 6 patches, she was running around outside playing with a ball. And she used to run up and down my fence line. And she just did amazing. So I was like, okay, so I need to know about these patches now. So I ended up buying them for me. And then I continued to put them on her. And she did well. She was 10 years old, just shy of 11, when she started getting worse. She did good for 6 months. The patches gave me an extra 6 months with her, and then we found out that she had cancer, hemangiosarcoma, and I believe it was in her brain. And it was horrible to watch. And then I had to make, the very horrible decision. But the patches gave me extra 6 months with her, because I thought at that point, after she had the stroke, that I was going to have to put her down because she just wasn't recuperating. And she made a full recovery. But I do believe the cancer is probably what made her have the stroke. Excuse me, that caused the seizure, is which caused the stroke, I believe. So, but the patches, they gave me that extra 6 months with her. So it's been 2 years. She's been gone 2 years now. So
Well, thank you, Kathy, for sharing. I know you love our fur babies, and same with my little Milo. He passed just last year, but you know what? It gave me 2.5 more years with Milo, and no medication. He died. He passed away too peacefully, sitting right here beside me in my house with me and my son, and I didn't have to have him put down. So, it made his transition too so much more peaceful and easy. He didn't suffer, and he wasn't in pain, and it was a wonderful passing for him too. So I thank you for sharing your story. I really
thank you
appreciate
for
that and
having
your
me.
time.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And next we have got Alisia Osborne. She is a animal lover as well, and she's got cats and dogs, and she has got some wonderful things to share with us next as well. Alisia, you there?
I am here. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So I want to share about 2 pets tonight. Grace, will you show our little black Charlie? And I don't have a before picture of Charlie, you guys, but this is Charlie, my husband's cat. And I married into being a cat mom too, just a few months ago. But when Chris and I first started dating, Charlie had a condition where he had terrible, like, eczema or something. We don't know what it was, but he had no fur, almost no fur. And I want you to look at this cat right here in this picture right now. You can see he has plenty of fur. And Chris had taken the cat to the vet. He was trying different medications from the veterinarian. He was using different scents in his home because he was scared that, it was something he was using in his home that was causing the allergies and the picking and the different things, but nothing had worked. And so I said, well, I wonder if a patch would work. And then you say to yourself, how do you patch a cat? Just really think about it. How do you patch a cat? And so what I encourage Chris to do is Charlie has 2 places he likes to sleep. We have another picture of that, I think, on my credenza there is, have you got, yeah, there, okay. So right there's in my dining room there. He likes to sleep in that bowl on top of the cabinet. And then he has a little, like, it's actually Skipper's old bed. He took over Skipper's bed. But I just told Chris, every night when you take off your X39, put it where he sleeps. Just put the patches where Charlie sleeps. And literally, you guys, in less than 30 days, Charlie's hair was all back. And it has not disappeared again. He's not picking, he's not scratching, he's not itching. The hair's all back. And the only thing that we did was take the X39 patch and put it in his bedding every night. We take it off our back and we put it in the bedding. So it's been phenomenal. Now, this little girl right here, this is Skipper Key. Skipper's a rescue. She is part Maltese. No, she's part Shih Tzu and part Yorkie. And Skipper is now 10 years old. But last April, it's actually been a year ago next week, I took and dropped her off at the vet, or not the vet, the groomers. I took her to the groomers and been using this groomer for all of my dogs for years and years and years. And I didn't even make it home, and they called and they said, we need you to come back and get Skipper. Something's wrong. Something's happened to her. She has really hurt her leg. And I said, well, what's happened? And of course, I was not even home. I just turned around and started driving back. And they said, well, she jumped off the grooming table. And I went, oh, okay, that's high. This is a little bitty dog, you guys. This is like a little 10-pound dog, okay? And we know how high grooming tables are. They're a little over waist high. So I got to the groomers. She was obviously very much in pain. She was in a panic. She was in a shock type situation. Got her to the vet. And they x-rayed, and she had a broken ankle and leg. It was broken in 2 places. So you can see here, they casted her. We put her on a calcium supplement, and they said, come back and we'll x-ray again in 2 weeks to make sure everything's okay. Went back in 2 weeks, x-rayed again, not okay. Kept her casted. They said, come back in 4 weeks, we'll x-ray again. I went back in 4 weeks, x-rayed, not okay, no healing. Guys, this went on for 4 months. I went in and got this little girl's leg x-rayed, was supposed to have kept this dog still, kenneled, caged. It was 4 months. They didn't want her moving around, walking around, but as you can see by her little cast there, she started wearing it out. But we had to, replace the cast about every 2 to 3 weeks. It was a hard cast. So I finally went in after 4 months. They x-rayed her again, and they said, we're going to cast her one more time, but we're going to refer you to an orthopedic specialist for dogs of this size in Charlotte, North Carolina. And you're probably going to have to be looking at bone grafts, pins, if they can even do it, or possible amputation, or you're going to have to let her go. And so that was crazy. And it was at that point, and I don't know why I didn't do it before, I started patching her. I patched her on her head. I patched her on the cast. I even, like, her little name tag, her little collar right here is a disc. And so sometimes, when the animals won't keep it on, you can tuck it inside their collar, or you can just put the patch on their name disc on their body. And I was just patching her and patching her and patching her. So when it came time for the consultation with the orthopedic surgeon, they called me first. And they said, we just want to let you know, we've reviewed Skipper's file, we've looked at her x-rays, and you're definitely looking at a bone graft surgery. It might or might not work, and you're also looking at between $4,000 and $6,000 to do the procedure, depending on what we find and what kind of rehabilitation she'll have to have afterwards. And my husband and I looked at each other and we said, nope, we're not doing it. And we let the cast wear off. We took it off. But you know what, guys? Skipper runs, plays, jumps, goes, no limp, no problems, just patched and healed up. And the only thing that I know that did it was after I gave up hope, and I've been patching myself with miracles for 4 years. Why it took me to do this for my own little fur baby, I don't know. But it's been pretty fantastic. And Skipper sure is a happy girl too. She was out chasing bunnies today and squirrels. So it's a good thing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, doing all the things dogs are supposed to do all day, right? Just have a good dog's life, and and cats too. So just living their best life because they're out of pain, they're not having issues, and just from this wonderful technology. Thank you for sharing, Alisia. That was wonderful.
And you know what, April, I love if you're not active in the chat, all of you guys putting your photos in there and your stories in there. I mean, the testimonials that are coming in there are so worthy of reading and seeing about too, because we're just giving you little glimmers tonight. There's so many amazing miracles that are happening for humans and for our fur babies on here too. And it's just mind-boggling. It just how does this work? Dr. Kayla,
Dr. Kayla, you there?
I'm here. I'm
Hey
here.
there. Well, yes, Alicia and I, we're just honored to have Dr. Kayla on with us tonight because she is a doctor of chiropractic and she has so many other specialties. I'm in their practice all the time and she's seeing mamas and babies, and she and Dr. Anthony are just amazing. But she also has even another specialty. She is one of the, I've never met another one, but she's one of the only, chiropractic certified. It was a ABCA certification and animal chiropractic. So she even has adjusted Scooby before. So Dr. Kayla, you just take it away. Thank you so much for being with us tonight to just help everyone understand how in the world could this work for, these animals, these wonderful stories, and so many more than these comments. How could it be possible this could work like this?
Yes, well, I'm so grateful that this is possible because as being a animal chiropractor in the state of South Carolina, AVCA, Chiropractor American Veterinary Chiropractic Association, I am so grateful because these patches have literally saved animal lives. I mean, I have to just say it, it's been truly miraculous to witness. I've been an animal chiropractor here in the upstate for 7 years now, and I have kind of jokingly become the couch potato animal chiropractor, the paralyzed animal chiropractor. I see animals of all walks of life, all ages, and I've also been deemed kind of like the death doula animal chiropractor because I see a lot of senior animals. And so being an animal chiropractor, you know, very different than a human chiropractor. Humans live very, very long. And fortunately and unfortunately, I get to be there towards the end of life for a lot of senior animals and be a last hope. Like many of you shared today about your stories of these patches giving your animals a little bit more time with you. That has been a really beautiful story for those in my animal practice. And so I started sharing the patches in my animal practice a year ago, and I literally have been blown away because I have so many wonderful vets in the area that refer to me and trust me with their animals in regards of, your typical spinal issues and experiences and looking for spinal health and wellness. And the difference that has been made is the timeline of seeing these animals change in their healing. And I truly believe, like you guys said earlier, it's not because animals can lie to us. It's because animals, just like babies, are truly innately connected to their potential and their power to heal. They don't have this mind, this educated brain that we do to say like, oh, it's gonna hurt, or this is awful, I'm gonna be out of work, or I wonder if I'm gonna be able to feed myself tomorrow. Like, they don't have this idea that things can go wrong for them. They really are such predatory animals that they have to survive. They have to, even though they're domesticated animals, their body has to override its pain, override the desire to eat and stay alive and to survive because they still are animals. Even though they live in the house with us and they're domesticated, they still have that very primitive brain that keeps them in survival mode. And so when you put these patches on these animals, they truly do just thrive utilizing their own light. And so one of the many beautiful things that I love mentioning about patches and animals is that true miracle essence that comes with it. Being a very abundant chiropractor in the world of paralyzed animals, I have a wonderful vet who refers me basically any animal that he can't help. And so there's a stack of my business cards and he hands them and writes the referral and gets them to me. And I've seen, animals that after 7 years that I truly didn't even think chiropractic or patches potentially would even benefit. Most recently, towards the end of last year, I saw a 4-year-old pit mix who we did not know what happened to her. She was either hit by a car or she was ran into by another dog head on or ran into a wall head on. It was definitely a very head on type of injury based off what she was showing. And so she was completely paralyzed, her feet completely tucked under her. This was definitely a presentation where the vet basically said, we put her down or you could try the chiropractor. And so I, kind of took this dog on, so sad for the family, and I said, listen, I don't know what's going to happen. This is truly the last hope, and I hate to be in that position because I've been in that position a lot of times where I am the last hope, and I'm so glad that I wasn't because I had honestly just started sharing the patches and I was like, let's just try these. So let's put these on her collar. Let's try. And typically with a paralyzed animal, it's kind of like a 6 to 12 week turnaround. If they get back up and they start walking and kind of the continued adjustments that follow with them. And so we were at week 2 this dog came back to me and was completely walking, still had not maintained control of her bowels yet, still was having some discomfort, very obviously, but was able to actually move her tail and wasn't panting in pain anymore. And so it was a 4-week full recovery conjunct with chiropractic and patches from a complete, this is a possible transition situation to this animal is up, walking, like so much vital energy, so much healing potential that happened, and was able to continue with wellness and maintenance and has not had any issues since. And so that's my favorite part of this part of my animal chiropractic journey is I did and have seen a lot of loss and lost hope for the owners and lost hope for the animals as well. And most of these humans are already patching. And so it's like just pass it on to your pet. And a lot of them too have never heard of the patches. And so their owners have a lot of healing potential that can happen as well. So it's a beautiful marrying experience that happens. And I've utilized these patches for my own animals. Being an animal chiropractor, I do a lot of volunteer work in rescues. I grew up just a huge lover of animal rescue. And so I have 5 rescue dogs and 2 rescue cats that we patch that get secondhand patches all the time. They are all senior animals, except for the cats. All the dogs are senior animals. And so we've patched during all kinds of things, such as teeth stuff, abscess stuff that's gone on. They always are trying to catch bees in my backyard, so bee stings, anything from there. And this is Muffin. Muffin is a 6-month-old kitten who we acquired. She acquired us, and she lives her very best life. The foster mom that we got her from, I sent her this picture. She just got spayed last week, and so she said, of course, your animal wouldn't just get chiropractic care; it would also get activation of its own light via these patches. I'm so glad that you acquired her and adopted her. So this is Muffin living her best life with X39, Eon, and Carnosine to help with. She was pitiful, y'all. She was so pitiful. You would have thought they took her hind end and removed it. She didn't even know what happened to her. But that is one of my favorite things is that there is so much potential that we don't even know that we could tap into with our own healing, let alone our animals. And it's something really powerful that I always offer everybody because we have these patches and we have access to utilizing our own light and we aren't treating anything. We're simply just giving the body its own opportunity to experience healing in the way it wants to. And that's very obvious when you look at these animals that are desperate and looking for hope, and we don't have a lot of answers to them because they can't talk to us. And so one last thing I want to share is I say they can't talk to us because I have a beautiful animal communicator on my team of patchers. She's been an animal communicator for over 20 years, helping resolve healing situations with animals all across the world. And she has over 15 senior animals that she started patching with these patches when she came across them for herself and her own vitality a year ago. And they're on my YouTube channel if you want to go check out these testimonials. There's so many of them. But my favorite is she had a senior dog who was deaf, who she started patching just to give him end of life vitality, because we were knowing that transition was probably coming soon. And within 6 weeks, the dog got its hearing back. I cannot make this up. It is so wild. While she had the dog, it never had hearing. And I know that's our hope for Scooby, is for Scooby to get his hearing back. I live next door to Grace, so I see Scooby and Pepper all the time. And also, she also had a senior cat who they had had since she was a kitten, who had some type of, joint issue that the cat was never allowed to jump or able to jump, able to, get high up on the refrigerator, on the different cabinets, like most cats like to explore. And within just a few weeks of her getting secondhand patches, she found the cat on top of the refrigerator, on top of the cabinets. And so I say this again, it's not for treatment, it's for vital optimization of our own health and well-being. And that's what I advocate for animals. Literally, I've had people put them on their animals for wellness as well. We patch all of our animals for wellness. If you're wearing patches, pass that thing on. Pass it to that pet, no matter if it's been, over 12 hours. Just like Alisia said, put it next to their bed. My favorite thing to do is just put it on their collar. Most animals do not like wearing patches, let's be honest. It impedes their personal space. So put them where they're sleeping, put them, on their head, on the inside of their collar, around their area. and it is a really powerful opportunity. So I invite you to try all the patches on all of your animals. There's so many benefits. The number one question I get is, which patches should I use? Whatever the ones that you're utilizing that you're done with is an amazing choice, right? And also some people do choose to purchase patches for their own animals, and that's great too. We would ideally want to stick to definitely X39, Eon, Carnosine, Alavita are some of my favorites to always make sure my animals are getting to optimize all those vital pools of energy in our system for healing. And so, yeah, this is one of my favorite topics to talk about because it is mind-blowing. Like Grace said, animals cannot lie, and the power of these patches is so abundant when we look at our animal friends.
Absolutely. Wow, Dr. Kayla, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And I know you answered all the questions I was looking at in the chat, like which patches you can use. And you're right, whichever one, like I use all them over the years on Milo and the cats as well. Another one I love to utilize is Eon, because over the years I would notice a dog that was terrified of lightning, fireworks, thunderstorms. I would put an Eon right on the top of the dog's head, Milo as well. And literally in just a few minutes, the dog would be, oh, there's me and little Milo, that baby. That would just in a few minutes, you guys, that would totally change. I've watched it happen on Grace's dogs as well. Eon is a powerful patch to just calm everything down. So
It
just
helps with licking. So Pepper is a cattle dog, and so it really stresses her out when Scooby's upset. Like when he was hurting a lot, it would really stress her out. She'd have a lot of anxiety. And I put in the chat a picture of her with the Eon on the. I just stick in the middle of her forehead, and for some reason she doesn't mind it. But it was just like an overwhelming sense of calm. She would just like, okay, everything's fine. I'm good now. Like a doggy out of van. She did so much better with the patches on.
absolutely. Well, my goodness, this was amazing tonight. Thank you so much, Patty and Grace and Kathy, Alisia, and our Dr. Kayla. You guys just made this a wonderful time to come together and share our love for our fur babies. Because a lot of times we love them. Some people will do more for their animals than they will for themselves. So our wearable light technology, I mean, there's just no end to what it can do. We're just so thrilled with what this has done for ourselves and for them as well. And if you would like to go learn a little bit more, maybe this is your first time ever even hearing about this technology tonight. If you would like to go learn more, please visit startx39now.com, where we have lots of videos, lots more information on all the technology, all the different patches. And join us again here on Thursday night, same time, 9 o'clock, same Zoom link. We're here every Monday night and every Thursday night at 9 o'clock. Thank you all so much for being here. Alisia, thanks for being my host tonight. Love you, girl. Thank you so much for sharing everything tonight about your love for your animals as well. And thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Bye, Grace. Thank you, Dr. Kayla. That was wonderful. I know there's so many great comments in the chat. So many wonderful things. Let's see, I don't know if we lost Alisia or not. Thank you guys so much.